In these video notes, we are going to go over dimensional analysis or conversions. The definition of dimensional analysis is using equalities as ratios, which we call fractions. We're going to start with our slope in a sentence from the other day. For every 1 second a candle burns, the mass decreases by 0.0022 grams. And so as the definition says, we're going to set equalities as ratios. So the equality that I have is going to be 1 second equals 0.0022 grams. And this is because I said up front, for every 1 second a candle burns, the mass decreases by 0.0022 grams. So that's my equality. That's what I'm comparing here. Well, possible ratios that I could have. So possible ratios or ratio possibilities is I could say, remember we used our fractions the other day and we went over this in class, I could say that for every 1 second there is 0.0022 grams, or I could say for every 0.0022 grams per 1 second. So ratios or conversion factors can be flipped, can be either direction. It depends on what we're talking about. And so you'll notice here that I have a problem that says a chemistry teacher needs to order sodium hydroxide. If each group needs 142 grams and she has 65 groups, how many kilograms should she order? And so with this, we're first going to identify what it is that we start with. And so what we actually start with, you might think that we're starting with the 142 grams. Oops. But that's not what we're going to start with. We're going to start with 65 groups. So I'm going to have you put a box around our given, and in this case this is our given. What we want to end with, we're going to circle, and so it asks how many kilograms. So that's what we want to end with. So basically we're going to start with 65 groups, that's my given, and I'm going to end with kilograms. That's what I want. So at the beginning of our dimensional analysis or our conversion problems, I do want you to write out what we're starting with, what we're given, and what we're ending with. Put a box around our given, put a circle around what we're trying to get to. And so the reason is because when we start this problem, we're going to start with our given and put it over 1. So we will always start dimensional analysis by taking our given and placing it over 1. Then what you're going to do is you're going to use ratios. And in this case, I don't want to end up with groups. So I know I need groups to cancel out. And how do I get something on top of a fraction to cancel out? I put the same units on the bottom of the fraction. We're not going to focus on numbers right now. We're just going to focus on our conversions. And so groups, well, what can I convert groups into? Well, the problem tells me that each group needs 142 grams. So I can convert groups to grams. By doing that, it's going to allow me to cross out my groups. Well, now I have grams, and I don't want to end up with grams, so I know I have to keep going. And in this case, now I have grams on top, so I'm going to put grams on bottom because I want the grams to cancel out. So what can I convert grams to? Well, grams can convert to kilograms. And if we look, kilograms in my setup problem is what I want to end with. So I'm going to circle that. That's going to tell me to stop. No, don't do any more conversions. And so then I'm just going to calculate things. Well, before I calculate, I need to put numbers in. So always go through your unit conversions first to make sure you're crossing things out, and you circle what you want to end with. And so by doing this, we said that we had 65 groups. Well, we said that one group requires 142 grams of sodium hydroxide. Well, now I have my grams and my kilograms. You should know from using your conversion sheet that for every 1 kilogram, there are 1,000 grams. And then since I had reached the unit that I wanted to end in, I am finished with this problem. And so now we're going to go ahead and plug things into our calculator. So anything on top you're going to multiply by, and anything on bottom you're going to divide by. So I'm going to take 65 groups times 142 grams divided by 1,000. And when I do that, I get 9.22 kilograms. I actually got, did I type something in differently? 65 times 142 divided by 1,000. I actually got 9.23 kilograms. So 9.23. The units I wanted to end with were kilograms, so those units carry over because everything else crossed out. And then we're going to circle our final answer. That's how you're going to do dimensional analysis. So basically, the steps for dimensional analysis: step 1, start with the given and put it over 1. So take given. In this case, our given was the 65 groups, and put over 1. So this was step 1. Then you're going to cancel out your units by moving the unit to the bottom so you can divide it out.